What is going on, folks? It is Dr. Remy LeBeau, and I'm coming at you once again from the X-Lair to provide you my deep and insightful thoughts into X-Men 97, Episode 2! Holy shitstorm! Oh my god, this episode was so good. I can't take how good it is. It's so good. It's crazy. It's crazy how good it is. All right. As you all know, I love the X-Men. This is the second episode of X-Men 97. Episode, like, the season started dropping last night. I mean, this is just so good. I've already seen these twice. I'm going to watch them again, I promise. Like, I need to make that promise. I'm promising it, though. Okay. First of all, living, breathing intro, okay? It's changing. Like, it's not exactly like it was in the first episode, but it is as well. It's basically the backbone, but they've reanimated some of the important character moments from the original series. Like, here's Bishop going through time. We see Storm with the Morlocks. We see Jean possessed by the Phoenix. We see Magneto. Oh, first of all, we see a title card for Magneto. Excuse me. We see a title card for Magneto, which I did not expect. Magnificent. Before any of the other characters. Before even Cyclops. Like, right after the X explodes, Magneto's title card. Magnificent. And then, we see some moments, like, kind of intercut. One thing I didn't mention in the last video, was that the morph sequence has this great, there's this great moment of Sinister, like, Mr. Sinister, kind of like, in this sort of ominous, dark representation that shows him, like, shadowy, in the background, kind of like being like the thing that Morph fears, right? Like the guy that screwed with him. But that's back. Anyway. A lot of really cool stuff in this opening sequence. I hope it continues changing every time, because that's really cool. It's so important. It's so iconic. It's so part of this whole thing. And I love that it is what it is. All right. So, opening sequence. Coney Island, the carousel. It's falling apart. Magneto comes in and saves a child. Magneto's a savior. And it's at night. I love how dark everything is. Then we see the Morlocks being attacked in the tunnels by the Friends of Humanity. Yeah, whatever, friends. And Magneto comes in and wrecks shop. And the Morlocks are like, Magneto, you're our savior. This is awesome. Then he's back at the mansion and he's like, I'm sending these kids to Genosha. Genosha is a mutant nation that he established. He liberated it. Initially, it was basically enslaving mutants and using them as a resource to, like, mine and shit. And Magneto, like, freed them. And now, it's not exactly clear what's going on with that, because, like, he was the ruler of Genosha. There's a lot of stuff in the comics with Genosha and him being the ruler. So I'm afraid of what may happen with Genosha as far as things that happen in the Grant Morrison run. If you know, you know. But it's cool, like he mentions, like, I'm sending the Morlocks to Genosha, something Xavier never did. He's in the war room with the X-Men. There's, like, conflict. Like, do we accept this guy as our leader? I don't know. Like, and he's, like, having these wonderful exchanges with the characters, like, kind of, there's a lot. The dialogue is fantastic. Like, the interactions are so wonderful because, like, he is Magneto, but he's also trying to kind of adapt to the role of Xavier without being Xavier. He wants acceptance, but he also wants them to understand, like, that who he is matters as well. Like, his perspective has also mattered. And he's going to sort of try to fuse the two. It's really magnificent. The animation is spectacular. Magneto looks great. He's wearing his wonderful outfit with the big M and the purple cape that we saw in X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 200, when it was the trial of Magneto, which we saw adapted in this episode, which is magnificent. Anyway, we see this wonderful moment with Magneto and Storm, where he calls her a goddess and like he wants her acceptance. It's just so good. It's so good. Despite all the epic everything that went on in both of these episodes, my favorite moments are the character moments. Like there's this wonderful quiet moment, which I'll get to, with Jean and Storm just talking in this in the room, and like Jean's talking about how she's nervous about having the kid, and like she doesn't want anybody to know, and it's like it's such a wonderful moment, and like and like Storm is like, yeah, you're my sister, and it's just like I'm just crying because I love it so much. Like seeing these characters being treated with such reverence, it's magnificent, okay. All right, so anyway, so there's like the whole thing. And then we also get introduced to like it's hinted at that there is a past with Rogue, and even though people are having trouble accepting Magneto, Gambit being one of them, Rogue seems to be warming up to him and is also kind of on his side and trying to kind of advocate for him. And it's not exactly clear why. And then they have this wonderful moment where she's like, we can't tell everybody about our past. And we don't really know that there's a past in the show because that was never explored, but it was explored in the comics. And in the Age of Apocalypse, the alternate reality storyline, where Xavier's son Legion goes back in time to kill Magneto, accidentally kills Xavier. In that timeline, Apocalypse takes over. In the present, Apocalypse rules the world. It's the Age of Apocalypse. The X-Men, there's no Xavier. Magneto is the one that formed them, and him and Rogue are together. And he can touch Rogue because of his magnetic power. Like he can coat himself with magnetic energy and therefore protect himself from her touch that absorbs. And therefore, like she can actually enjoy physical touch, and I guess in that world they got together and they have a kid. So this is sort of kind of like hearkening to that in a sense. I have a feeling we're going to see Age of Apocalypse, like, and it's not just going to be like a 2-episode thing. I think it's going to be like a 5-episode thing. Anyway. So there's like the beyond all the awesome, there's these amazing like character things that are happening. Like there's a love triangle being set up between Rogue, Gambit, and Magneto. Who saw that coming? I didn't, but I fucking love it. Like I love, Gambit being jealous and Magneto showing like his tender side. It's wonderful. And of course Rogue just being fucking Rogue. And like she mentions at one point, like, we've all had a dark past, and like Xavier let us in and kind of tamed us in a sense. And so she's sort of advocating for Magneto from that angle, which is really cool. Anyway, so discussions, stuff happening. And then, and then there's the great intimate moment between Jean and Storm, which is fantastic. My favorite moment of the 2 episodes. Despite all the action, despite all the awesome, this is my favorite moment of the episodes. And then, of course, we have this wonderful moment with Magneto and Rogue, which I freaking love. Okay, and then we have helicopters show up at the mansion. It's Val Cooper, and she's like, Magneto's a criminal. We got to take him away. And Magneto's like, am I going to be given a fair trial? Can I exonerate myself? She's like, sure. And he's like, I give myself over willingly. Like, this is him basically saying, like, I want the world to know me for who I am, and I want everybody's acceptance by earning it, not simply by from blind faith. And so he goes with them, and then the trial begins, the trial of Magneto, which is magnificent. It's just so good, man. Okay, so the trial begins. The Friends of Humanity are like, they're not people aren't liking it. The Friends of Humanity have plans that get executed by the executioner, which is that guy with the long metal mask that does something horrible, which I'll talk about in a second. So they attack, the Friends of Humanity attack. Well, we get these really wonderful moments where like there's a discussion, and Magneto has a really great moment where he's just basically like, I was hunted as a child, I was hunted as an adult, like, You know, like, this is who I am. I want you to know me. I want you to know my struggle. And like, I just want you to understand me, you know? And like this, it's just so wonderful, man. It's just so good. Like the discussion of what is happening is so, like, it's got so much weight to it and depth, you know? It's like important. It's not just like kids shit doing, it's like it's not kids shit at all, man. It's just straight up great storytelling for adults. And kids get the bonus of being able to just watch it and their parents being able, willing to let them, because it's still animation, you know? So, the Friends of Humanity attack, and of course at the same time, Jean goes into labor. So Jean's at home with Wolverine, and then Wolverine has to take her to have the baby, and then the Friends of Humanity are attacking. They're overwhelming them. They want to like get in, and like they're overwhelming the security. And they're gonna get into like the main hall where like the trial is being arbitrated, and then Storm's like, free Magneto, and like, we gotta defend ourselves, and everybody's like, no, we can't free Magneto. She's like, do not speak. Dude, the depiction of Storm, fucking awesome. Which is also tragic, but we'll talk about that. So Friends of Humanity are attacking. That Executioner guy's a dick. And at the same time, Jean's like mentally to Cyclops, like, hey, I'm having a baby. Please come. And then Storm's like, Rogue, you go take Cyclops, and we'll defend Magneto and the tribunal of judges, because they're being attacked as well. They, like, the Friends of Humanity consider them traitors because they are, they have the gall to hold a trial for somebody who's been accused of something. Hello, that's how things work. Anyway, so Cyclops and Rogue go to the hospital, right? And then they have this wonderful moment where like the hospital is not willing to deliver the baby, which is like fucked up. And then I think Cyclops asks Rogue, like, Rogue, absorb the doctor's expertise and deliver this baby. And she's like, I don't know, because I don't want to touch the baby. What if I screw him up? She's like, fuck it. Jean's like, I trust you. And then, Rogue takes the doctor's information. The minute she has it, she's like, prep the operating room. And she's like, yes, bitch. It's so good. So good, man. These moments are fantastic. So, of course, the baby's being delivered at the same time. The Friends of Humanity are attacking. They've gone into the room where Magneto and Storm are. Storm is defending. Everything's great. And then the Executioner has this special weapon. And he's targeting Magneto. And Storm, like, jumps in to protect him. And she fucking gets hit. And when she gets hit, it looks amazing. At the same time, I'm just like, oh my God, is she dying? Is she going to die? Because we saw that funeral in the trailer. So I was like, oh my God, are they going to kill Storm? They don't kill Storm, though. They fucking depower her, which is what happened in the comics. There was a whole period where her powers were taken from her. This is wonderful. They're adapting that whole aspect as well. I love it. God damn it, I love it. Like, she ended up besting Cyclops to be leader without powers. And she was the leader without powers for a while. This is going to be very interesting. But that moment was heartbreaking. When I first saw it, I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, just, my emotions were torn asunder. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Tragic. And then you see her like writhing on the ground. And then she's like, I can't feel the breeze. Like, it was just so beautiful and tragic. It's like, this is everything I've ever wanted in life. That moment was everything I've ever wanted in life. Yes, I'm on the verge of crying. Yes, I am. It's just who I am. Look at my shirt. Look at this. Look at that. Okay. So Magneto fucking ain't putting up with this shit. Fucking takes the Executioner, and he's gonna fucking take him to the top of our atmosphere, and he's gonna drop that motherfucker. And he's brought the tribunal too because he's pissed. And he's like wrestling with himself. He's like, do I give in? Do I give in to the man I've been? Or do I try to maintain this balance of me and Xavier and show the world that things can improve and that we can be better? You know, like that conflict is presented to us. In his internal struggle is presented to us. And it's fucking awesome. It's so good. Eventually he decides he's gonna give them leniency, and he doesn't kill anybody, and then he's exonerated. And then we get this wonderful sequence at the end where it's established that the change, the storm, what's happened. Well, first of all, Cyclops and Jean have a baby. They call him Nathan. Not Christopher Summers, Charles Summers, which is interesting, which I'm down with. Totally down with. That's Cable, everybody who doesn't know. Cable is Nathan Christopher Summers, but this is Nathan Charles Summers. Let's not talk about it. I'm sure they'll kind of figure things out. Then it's established, Beast establishes that the change is permanent for Storm. And obviously it breaks Storm. Jean and Cyclops were going to leave. They're like, no, we're going to stay and help you. And then we have this wonderful sequence where Storm has written a note to Jean. And she's like, we're no longer walking the same path. I have to go. And it's intercut with all the scenes of the various people and sort of like the resolution of their stories within that episode. And it's such a touching moment. It's so beautiful. It's so fucking beautiful, man. Goddamn, man. Fuck. God. And then Storm leaves, and then Magneto's like, we're going to respect this. And it's just so good, man. It's so good. And then what happens at the very end? It's not going to end there. It looks like they're going to do like a cliffhanger at the end of each episode, which is wonderful. I love that. What happens? Somebody knocks at the door. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It's a clone of Jean. It's somebody that looks exactly like Jean. And she's like, I need the X-Men. Who is it? It's Madeline Pryor. That's who it is. In the comics, when Jean Grey is presumed dead after the Dark Phoenix saga, Cyclops leaves the X-Men, meets Madeline Pryor, has a baby. The baby's Nathan Christopher Summers, Cable. It turns out Madeline Pryor was a clone created by Mr. Sinister to create the baby that they created so the baby can then destroy Apocalypse. Okay? In this, Cyclops and Jean had the baby. So they're the proper parents of... People are speculating that is actually Jean and the other one is Madeline Pryor. But that's not true because Madeline Pryor doesn't have Jean's powers. And so when Jean was using her powers, that couldn't have been Madeline Pryor. That had to be Jean. So this is clearly a clone of Jean. She's probably escaped Sinister, so we might see Sinister in the next episode, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, so that's what I think is going on. Anyway, we're just done with the second episode. And then at the very end, we see this wonderful moment where Rogue, and by the way, I love the closing sequences here, but this is actually also part of the that montage here. That montage where, Storm was reading her letter, where we see Rogue take off her fucking, her glove and like touch Magneto. Fuck. It's just so beautiful. It's so fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's like all these things happening at once. It's just so beautiful. I love it so much. If we only had these 2 episodes, that would be enough for me. But there's 8 more. There's another season. And then another one. Okay. Anyway, folks. we have been granted this gift of X-Men 97. It's magnificent beyond words. I can't say any more positive about it. It's so good. I love it so much. Yeah, I'm just beyond satisfied, and I can't wait for more. And yeah, of course I'll make a video every week after each new episode comes out, because my God, I want to. I mean, I need to talk about this stuff because I love it so much, and I know a lot of you love it as much as I do, and so it's just such a wonderful experience to be able to share this with you, and for this show and this reverential representation of some of our favorite characters to be given to us to be enjoyed. It's just such a great moment, you know. Whatever's going on in our lives, whatever's going on in the world, you know what? Like, at least there's some good shit like this going on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got problems. The world is topsy-turvy as always, but some things there can be happy endings to some things. And there is definitely one as far as for X-Men fans. Like, this is a wonderful next chapter for us. And I'm beyond excited about it. Anyway, there you go. That's my thoughts on episode 2 of X-Men 97. I'm getting choked up. X-Men 97, it's just so good. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out my channel. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. Click that bell if you want to be notified when my next video pops up. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about it. Are you on the verge of crying every minute you think about it too? Because it's okay if you are. It's okay if you are. Because it's magnificent. Drop a comment. Drop a like. And anyway, I hope all of you are well, and I will see you guys next week. As always, I want to remind you that if you haven't already, you better put an X in the box, because ain't nobody checking me, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.